All right, what's happening, everybody? I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between onboarding and training. So onboarding is the process of bringing on a new team member and getting them like 100% set, like proper set expectations in your company culture, your company policies. Obviously, there's like the paperwork and getting them onboarded to payroll and all that. That's kind of some logistics stuff. But onboarding is essentially integrating a person into your environment. All right, think about it that way. Making sure expectations are properly met, having check-ins, making sure that the job is what they thought it was going to be, right? Training is I'm teaching you how to do the job. All right, so you may be training a mover on how to pad wrap, how to do home protection, how to tier a truck, what your truck inventory checklist is in the mornings, right? That's very specific. It's training. It's hands-on training. We need to make sure we differentiate onboarding and training. Onboarding is it's a series of short steps or processes that happen in the beginning of an employee's tenure. Training is ongoing. It doesn't ever stop. You just may be doing a lot more training in the beginning with a new mover or driver, okay? Training is continuous. It should happen forever and ever and ever, always, as long as that person's at your company. Onboarding is a specific time period when you first bring them on. So most people put these together. They just say, we're training, and they just jumble everything up. And like your very first day of bringing on a new employee should have very little training. A lot of it, it'll have some training, but a lot of it is onboarding. Having this like initial first impression meeting is what I call it, right? Having a 30, maybe like a 45-minute conversation, a management person or ownership with the new person, setting expectations, right? Correcting any bad or poor first impressions that may have happened, setting the expectations and standards of the company, finding out, what they're really looking to achieve while they're there, talking about the vision and the mission, right? There's all kinds of little things that you want to do in your onboarding process that's going to increase your retention, lower turnover, right? Because those in the moving business, those are going to be the two biggest. Turnover costs are going to be the number one place where you are losing money. It's not in truck repairs and maintenance. It's not in fuel. It's not in, a guy wasting shrink wrap. It's wasted dollars in training and onboarding and then losing those people and then having to start all over again. And so retention is everything. So if you do not have a specific onboarding system, then I highly recommend just start somewhere. Like get a sheet of paper out and just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and write a process out on, okay, this is what we're going to do when we hire a new mover or a new driver. If you want something a little more sophisticated, okay, we just launched some new online courses for moving companies. You can check out. We've got a course called the Hourly Employee Onboarding System. Fantastic process on how to onboard movers and drivers into your business, okay? It's not training. It's not showing somebody how to pad wrap and how to load a truck, all right? It's not that. It's what you and your management team need to do in order to effectively bring new people on, retain them, hold them, and then stack and build your team, all right? It's not about the number of people that you're bringing in. It's about how many people are staying. The number one important thing with hiring is don't hire just to then lose the people, because then you just have a revolving door, right? At that point, you might as well not even invest all that money and energy in trying to do all that hiring, right? You need to go fix the retention part. So you can check my personal Facebook. I just posted a cool video about some of the online courses, but you can check that out at courses.moveupconsulting.com. For the onboarding course, it's called the Hourly Employee Onboarding System. Really great tool. The training side, okay, you also need to have a process for training, all right? So every moving business is different in this aspect. Every moving business has their ways of training how to do moving, okay? what you want to do is you want to have a systematic approach on what exactly does a new hire need to be taught before you send them out on a moving job. Okay, so I would write that out and have that very clear. You should not send somebody out on a job if they don't have those basic pieces of training finished and accomplished yet. Otherwise, you're putting yourself at risk. The other thing is you need to decide, like, okay, well, obviously we can't go with so many days without sending them on a job, and that's where they're going to learn the most. So, what's your process? Do you redshirt somebody? Do you send someone as an extra man on a job for a couple days and they're in training, or do you spend a certain amount of days or hours in the warehouse or at the office doing training before they go on jobs, right? You just need to lay all that out, and you need to make it so that way every new hire goes through it, no exceptions. Whether they have experience or not, they should go through your company's specific training in order to be compliant with your company processes. They could be a master mover. They've been doing it for 10 years. Don't care, right? And that should be a sign. You like when you onboard them, and you should be setting those expectations. Hey, everyone goes through our training. I know you got experience. That should just mean it's really easy for you. Treat it as if you're brand new and you never knew anything. And you could even tell them, hey, I want you to go through it, and then you have 10 years of experience. Well, why don't you make mental notes or a list on your phone of all the things that you would add to the training after you're done with it? So now you've empowered your new employee, you've asked for their feedback, and now you get them to buy in a little bit, right? But don't just let them bypass the training, all right? Everyone needs to go through onboarding and your training every single time, okay? No exceptions. Back to the training here. You got to systematize, break it down by the day, okay? So maybe you need to draw out like the first 7 days. Maybe it's the first 30 days and you just work backwards, whatever. First 14 days, first 7 days. I think it's easy to just say, start with the first week and then go day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. And if they have some days off, right, it's fine. It just carries over. The next day they come to work is their day 5. And in day 1, when they're scheduled to come to work, what needs to happen? On day 2, what needs to happen? Then what you want to do is each day break down the time of day. And you could do this by hours, or you could do like morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. Break it down so that way it's scheduled, and then you should give that to your new team member at their first onboarding meeting when they get started and say, hey, this is what you can expect in your first week. This is the plan. So then it shouldn't be this big, crazy unknown and like this confusion about what they're doing today and what they're doing tomorrow. You shouldn't have a guy sitting in a chair in the warehouse waiting for a manager to come train with them. They shouldn't be sitting in a chair for 45 minutes. So you're going to need to prepare and plan, and then you just got to communicate and get everybody on track for that. All right. So not only do you need to break it out into blocks, okay? Think of block scheduling. If you're a business owner, I hope that you'd use block scheduling. This is how you manage your calendar and your time. Do this for your new hires. Set up the block scheduling, and then for every block, you should have an objective. So what's the objective of that time? Well, the objective is to learn how to pad wrap dining chairs, or maybe the objective is to learn how to effectively pack a dish pack. All right, whatever. Put your objectives in your time blocks, and then you should have a process on how to train over it, right? And that's your company, how you guys do moving. And you can get really granular with it, right? You can go as detailed as you want. I like simplicity on stuff. You don't always need to have every little word spelled out, but you do need a plan. The main thing I want you to take away, difference between onboarding and training. Onboarding is a short series of processes or steps when you hire a new employee. Training is an ongoing, continuous process of equipping your employees to become better at what they do. They're different. They're not the same. You do different things in onboarding than you do training. Totally separate. Onboarding is not part of training, where training is not part of onboarding. They're separate. They're two separate, totally different things. So just be careful when you're putting it all together. Yes, when you hire a new person, you're doing both, and they interchange a little bit, like they overlap more so. So that's what I want to share about today. Hope this helps. Check out these new online courses we have. Literally, I just spent tons and tons of hours shooting video content, writing lesson notes to help equip you guys. Check out courses.moveupconsulting.com. You want to look for the hourly employee onboarding system. If you go to my personal Facebook profile, there's a link to get to that stuff and you can check it out. All right. We will see you guys next week and have an awesome weekend.